If you want to see me create a second look with the Coloured Raine Vivid Pigments palette, then stick around. Hi there, it's Hélène with another video, and this time, yes, I am going to be using the Vivid Pigments palette by Coloured Raine a second time, and I'm going to do something a little bit different. I saw Angelica Nyqvist, that's her name, on her channel recently prepare, I should say, a 9-pan palette based on a picture of a video game character, and I was just really inspired by that, and I am wearing a shirt today that I want to use as inspiration for today's makeup look. Let me show you the shirt. I'm wearing it right now, and I'm going to just kind of stand up in front of the camera, so hang on. So you'll see some reds, you'll see some grays, you'll see some brown, and on the flowers here you'll see some different kinds of red and also a little bit of green. So that is my inspiration for today. It is one of my absolute favorite shirts. As I get comfy here again, and in this palette there are a number of the colors that I just mentioned. I am looking primarily at the red and brown, and down here kind of the, what's it called, almost like a peachy and orangey color, and then this deep green down here. So those are the colors that I intend to use for today's look. I do have right now a base, but all I used was the shade Vanilla, which is very much like my skin tone, on my lid to set my eye primer, which is the NYX eyeshadow base in 03. That's all I'm wearing on my eye right now, other than, of course, having done my brows. That's pretty obvious, and also Annabelle Blackest Black on the upper waterline so that my eyes are not completely lost in a sea of beige. And let's get right into it. I'm thinking I'm going to go in and put the brown as a transition color, which is Unbothered. Do this first, and then go into Sauce afterwards. And I increasingly love having red in the crease, so I'm going to, I think, really enjoy this look. I think I'm going to use a kind of a fluffier brush for the transition color and getting into the crease. And for that purpose, I'm going to use my crease brush from Sephora, which I have recently reintroduced into my brush stash because the Smashbox flat fluffy brush was not working, called the contour brush. Anyway, I had trouble using it with a black shadow called Muse from the Dare to Create 39A. It was rough. Let me just put the video here if you want a bit of a laugh on my attempts. I stayed serious throughout the whole video, but you can see it's a train wreck. Anyway, moving on to nicer things. So Unbothered, what a great name for a shadow after what I just said. I am unbothered by that video. I'm going to go right in, and it's these Vivid Pigment mattes, they're all mattes, are pretty powdery, but I love how they blend, and powdery mattes blend well. It's kind of a 1-2 punch there. All right, going right in. With mattes, it's not unusual to have skipping. And it's looking good pretty quickly, so that's good. Really quickly, actually. And it's has more of a salmon color than I expected. It looks almost more beige in the pan, but that could have to do with the fact that it's kind of a purple around the shadow, and it's hard to see what the actual true color of a given shadow is. I'm not a big fan of color around the pans. I would rather it be a white or a black, because then the real color comes through. Just my preference anyway. What do you think? Do you like having colored cardboard or plastic around shadows, or would you rather it be neutral colors? Sometimes the colors, I have trouble with some of the colors that are chosen. They clash, or they distort the color, the way it's going to look on your eye, because nobody has a purple lid color, right? Not to start off with, anyway. think that looks pretty darn good, don't you? That was super, super, super easy. I'm going to do the next color before going and replicating this on the other eye. And I think I'm going to stay with the same crease, why am I having trouble with crease brush, and go into Sauce. And Sauce again is this nice red color, makes me think of ketchup, hence probably the name. And I think I'm going to direct it more 2/3 from 1/3 in, out, and then onto the outer lid. We'll see. I seem to always change my mind about this kind of stuff, but let's try. It has more of a pink color than a true red, but I'm not unhappy with it. I think it's probably going to get more red when I pack it on the outer lid, which is what I want to do with this color, but I'm just going to intensify it a tiny bit more. And it goes so nicely into that other color, Unbothered. They're really nice together. I like it very, very much. I'm not going to do anything with the lower lash line yet. I'm always dragging stuff from the top down. This time I want to just see what I do with my upper lid before going into onto my lower lid, if that makes sense. I think I'm going to stop what I'm doing right now and recreate this on the other eye, and I will fast forward it for you so that we can just move ahead. I am pretty happy with those two colors. I think it looks really, really nice. And just looking at it now, I do want to add the deep red called, well, not deep, but red, almost like a rusty red on the outer lid. And here's my plan, because I want to use red and I want to use orange and going into the peach just to, again, match the shirt I'm wearing. So I'm going to go, I think, with this on the outer lid, this one, which is kind of a bright orange called Splash on the center lid, and then finish with this one on the inner lid called Crushin. So we're going to go with Sauce, Crushin, Sauce, Splash, and Crushin from the outer to the inner lid. Well, for that purpose, I'm going to switch brushes. I don't need this one right now. I'm going to go in with a dense shadow brush. This is the one I'm going to be using. I really like how it works for almost like a big smudger brush and then also a brush to really pack the color onto the lid. And I'm going to go right into Sauce again. And I expect that packing it on will change the color and really intensify it. And that seems to be what's happening. That's good. And it blends right into the crease, onto the sauce that we already put on, that I already put onto the, in the upper crease. So far, these colors are absolutely effortless. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. All right, I just smoothed it out a little bit as well. I think, are they the same intensity? I think I'm going to add just a little bit more on that side. Okay, now we talked about the, I think it's called Splash. Yeah, Splash, the really bright orange right in the, no, I'm going to go in with the lighter color, which is Crushin, on the inner lid, and I think I'm going to finish with a splash on the center. So I'm going to take my angled brush to put this Crushin color on the inner lid. And for that purpose, I'm going to use my angled brush, as I said, right into Crushin, which is that kind of a peachy orange, and I put it on the wrong side, so I'll start with this eye. Oh, I love it. You know what? This is going to layer just as well as the first look I did with this palette, which was a purple and blue look. I'll put it right here if you want to see it. These pastel-y colors in this palette just layer beautifully on other shadows from this palette. They're opaque, they're pigmented. I'm loving everything about these right now. And what I had done was, yeah, I had layered Cute on top of Bossed Up and Yacht Life, and it looked so good. So, like I said, a purple and blue look, and it turned out so nice. For such a colorful palette, I'm impressed with how user-friendly it is, and it seems to be hard to mess them up, and that's so, so appreciated. Just a tiny bit on the other eye, and then I think we'll be good with this color. I'm so happy with the colors I've used so far, seriously. Okay, now we want to go in with Splash on the center lid to kind of give it that pop. I don't do that very often, but I feel like doing it today. And I think I'm going to use my finger for that. So again, Splash right on my ring finger and going in on this eye first. With a different finger, I'm just going to even it out on both sides. I'm not so sure about that. I think maybe a brush would work better, so I'm going to just grab one of those. I'm going to go with this Quo brush and see if it works better. It really picks up a lot on the brush. I think I'm going to put it on both eyes the same way and then go a little bit back into Sauce and Crushin and just minimize a little bit because Splash is a little bit overwhelming. Okay, I don't think it looks bad. I just want to diffuse the color a little bit with deepening out the outer and lightening up the inner a second time. Going to go back into the angled brush into the Crushin color. It's almost like they blend together a little bit too well. I'll go into Sauce now on the outer lid. Here's what I'm seeing is that Splash keeps getting taken away from the other brushes, even though I'm being very careful. And I just want a little bit more of that color, and I think I'm going to go in with quite a detail brush. For that purpose, I'm going to use this Quo detail brush to to just be very specific about where I want splash to be. I'm okay with this. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to, though, add some color to the lower lash line because right now there really isn't very much. And I want to do two things. I want to bring Sauce down onto the outer third to half of the lower lid, and then I want to use Squad on as liner on the bottom lash line. I think that that is going to look pretty good. So let's go and do that. I may or may not use Crushin that is on my inner lid on the lower inner lid as well, but I'm not sure yet. For the purpose of putting Sauce on the lower lid, I'm going to use this brush, which I do find works a little bit as well as a smudger because it's so densely packed. I'm going to go right into Sauce, just on the tip of the brush, and go on the outer to center lid. Don't want to go too far down. I think that looks all right. I'll replicate on the other side. And I will go in with Crushin, Crushin on the inner lid. And I really want some precision, so I'm going to use the very tiny smudger brush from Smashbox for that purpose. Using very, very little on the brush. All right, I am liking that. Now let's go in with the green shadow for the liner on the lower lash line. And again, that's going to be the color Squad, which is kind of a, it's like a deep teal pulling almost to the forest green. It's quite nice. I think I'm going to continue using this little guy for the Squad color, because it's thinner than the smudger brush that I was just using from Smashbox, and I think that that will do a better job. Have never used this brush for liner, so we'll see what happens. I like this color so much, the liner on the bottom. I'm going to do a little bit more on the outer lid to almost center lid up on top, because I think the colors are so complementary. So back up here I go. This little brush worked a lot better as a liner than I thought it would. I'm really happy with it. I am going to finish up the look by putting Annabelle Blackest Black in the waterline upper and lower, and I'm also going to put mascara and be right back. Okay, I am back, and I used 4 different products that I want to tell you about. I used the Annabelle Blackest Black, which has been my black eyeliner of choice lately. It's very, very black, on my lower waterline and then upper waterline, all the way into the inner lid on the upper waterline so that I have a definitive line, or the appearance of a definitive line from outer to inner lid. Although I did not put any Annabelle Blackest Black on the upper lid, which I often do because I have that green, deep kind of teal forest green color on the outer lid. So that is perfectly enough. And since I also have that green color all the way down on my lower lash line, I only use the Annabelle Blackest Black on my waterline, lower and upper. Next up, I also used my current favorite mascara, which is the Monsieur Big from Lancôme. And I used that strictly on my upper lashes, although there was a bit of transfer to the lower lashes, 2 coats of that. And I took the lip gloss I had on earlier, a nondescript L'Oreal lip gloss, and I put on this Juicy Tubes from Lancôme, which is a penning project that I have, a penning project item that I have currently in my arsenal. And I thought that an orangey lip gloss would look good with that kind of a reddish orangey eye, as opposed to going with a bolder lipstick, because I think the eyes are bold enough already, in my opinion. And I finished up with the Hangover 3-in-1 setting spray by Too Faced to just finish up the face. And now let's see how I did to match up that shirt. So I'm going to scoot forward to the camera for a second so we can take a look at the colors of the eye. So here's a good look. So reds and green and 3 different colors on the lid, from peach to blaze orange to deeper red. A little bit of pink in there too. And let's take a look at the shirt again. We definitely have some reds. We have some greens with the flowers. We have a little bit of brown in the sword. And of course, there's gray, but I did use black liner. So I'm thinking we got the vibes of the shirt. What do you think? Well, that's it. That's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. I always love to hear your feedback. I thank you so much for joining me. It's always a pleasure. And I do look forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now, take care.